Could you benefit from building supreme confidence? What would change for you if you played your best when under pressure? What's it costing you to not have the confidence, the poise, and skill to execute when your team needs you most? I've created an exclusive training video designed just for you. I outline the 3 critical keys to building unshakable supreme confidence and dominating under pressure. You'll also find out how you can apply these to your career today so that you can start to speed up your results and follow a predictable system to get you to your goals. Go to IMNOTYOU.com/dominate under pressure. You can go ahead and access that free training. In less than 2 minutes, you'll be learning exactly what I teach my high-performance professional athletes and clients about what it takes to dominate. Again, IMNOTYOU.com/dominate under pressure.
If you try to get right, then you listen to my dad. He's a beast. And if you don't want to listen to him, okay, you don't want to get successful. If you ain't trying to dominate, man, then go listen to something else.
Welcome, athletes, top performers, and all those looking to gain that killer instinct, that edge you need to dominate in any environment. This is the Sports Motivation Podcast, and I'm your host, Niyi Sobo. I played ball and succeeded at the highest levels, and I'm now committed to showing you how you can accomplish the ambitious goals and visions that you have. This podcast is designed to teach you high-level strategy, not just fluff and hype. This will cut to the core if you let it. And by taking action on the practical and next-level advice I share, you will see results. Expect that. Expect to be more confident. Expect to be more focused. Expect to be more decisive. And expect to be more fearless. Expect to become the leader your vision needs you to become. So listen up. Take notes. Let's get to it. Welcome to the Sports Motivation Podcast. It's your host, Niyi Sobo. I got a question, like legit. I want you to think about this before we hop up into this episode, because I'm very excited to deliver this content because, like always, I'm never not excited. But this particular topic that I'm going to be discussing is something, it's a theme that comes up a lot with me, and it's one of the things that gives me a lot of confidence knowing. And the reason why I know it is there's a few reasons. Number one, I have played with some of the best athletes in the world. I've never claimed to be one of the best athletes in the world, although technically you can call me that because I played in the NFL and played with and amongst the best players in the world. But I've never felt like I was never the biggest, I never was the biggest, fastest, or strongest. But one of the things that's really cool for me in all of my experience, even when I was at Oregon State and playing with a guy like Steven Jackson, running back for the Rams for a long time, he played for the Falcons as well, I got to see like firsthand what makes these guys so great. Like what makes a superstar a superstar. We talk about Drew Brees, Jonathan Vilma, Will Smith, rest in peace, Jeremy Shockey, guys who really stood apart from everyone else. I got to see it. And not only that, I got to see the habits that took me from being what I considered average talent, but someone who really maximized and got a lot out. I can't say maximize. I guess we'll never, ever truly maximize, right? But I got a lot out of myself. And so, and not only this, what I'm going to be discussing today is also something that comes up a lot for me, you know, in my peers, in my kids, my wife, those who are close to me, my clients, etc. It's something that I harp on a lot, and it's a distinction that I feel like I've made, that I feel confident about knowing this, and because I know it, it allows me to go about my business in a certain way and challenge myself in a certain way and hold myself to a certain standard. So what I'm going to mention here is not easy by any means, but what you'll find is that it is the difference. And what difference am I talking about? I'm talking about the difference between superstars and everyone else. The thing that sets apart your favorite athlete from everyone else. I'll just use Steph Curry as an example. He's a very easy one to use right now because, of course, he's playing at the highest level. He's crushing it right now. Steph Curry is 6'3", can barely dunk. Very slender, not the most athletic, none of that. What he's done is created himself into a monster of a player, created himself. Now, he's a lot different than a guy like Russell Westbrook, right? Who has a ton of physical talent and skills. But even with Russell Westbrook, is it just because he's so explosive and talented, or is there more there? I'm arguing that there's more there. And what's there is this, all right? I'm going to explain to you the difference, and then I'm going to get into how you create it. But the difference between superstars and everyone else is that a superstar has the ability to take an incredibly mundane, boring, sometimes lifeless task and approach them with a laser-like focus and intention. And they have the ability to do it over and over and over again, even when they don't want to. Does that make sense? Did that seep in? I'm going to say that again just so it can make sure you get it. The difference between superstars and everyone else is that superstars, those who dominate consistently, have the ability to take incredibly mundane, boring, lifeless tasks and attach a level of intensity to these tasks and do them, and at a rate that no one else does it. Most people start something and quit because it's boring. Most people don't do things because they're not fun. Most people will do the not fun things every once in a while. But what I found in my research, in my reading, in my observations, in watching a guy like Drew Brees, and watching a guy like Sean Payton, and watching a guy like Steven Jackson, what they did is they approached those things with a certain level of intensity that everyone else did not. All right, I'm bringing this up because I'm a father of 5. I told you guys that I'm a father of 5, and I love my kids to death. And one of the challenges, I love them so much, sometimes I just want to coach them up too much. I want to tell them, man, like, this is what it takes to get what it is that you want. I'm talking to my 2-year-old, like, man, if you want to succeed, he looking at me like, man, what you talking about, Dad? But anyway, they say certain things to me, and they show me certain things where sometimes I can get overly frustrated because it's my child. And I'm like, my child, my son, I can't have you think like that. So anyway, the other day, I make them read books that I wish I would have read when I was younger. A lot of the books I mentioned to you guys, a lot of the books I have you all read, I have my kids read them. And my kids give me some kickback. Some kids give me more kickback than others. My daughter, my oldest daughter, she's been giving me a lot of kickback. And she has this book, I think it's called like, Divergent, the movie, right? Divergent series. You know, it's kind of like Hunger Games type thing. And she loves these movies and she loves these books. So she reads these books. And I don't knock her for that. I read a ton of those type of books growing up. I read Goosebumps. What else did I read? Animorphs. There's nothing wrong with those type of books at all. In fact, I think there's value in that. But she read this book like 4 times, this thick book, Divergent, the same movie that I saw with her about twice, that I saw. I know she saw it more than that. And she's reading this book over and over. And the book that I gave her, which was a book that I handpicked for her based on a problem that she has that would outline the very solution for her, she hadn't read it. And I asked her why she wasn't reading it, and she told me because it was boring. She didn't want to read it. I'd like to think that I handled that situation a lot better than I felt like I was going to handle it in. And I did. I didn't flash on her. But my message to her was the same message that I'm giving you today. And it's that if you want to be great, it doesn't matter if it's boring or not. If it needs to be done, you'll do it. And you'll do it with intensity. You'll do it with focus. You'll do it with intention. Very rarely do I sit down to read a book and am I jumping for joy. Very rarely do I pick up a book and it's so entertaining. Very rarely, sometimes they are. But to me, that's not the point. The point is it going to provide me with information that's going to help me achieve what it is that I want to achieve? Very rarely do I think people sit down to, let's say a bodybuilder, ration out his meals for the week, divvy up his broccoli and his chicken breasts. Very rarely is he thinking, yay. Very rarely do people wake up at 4 a.m. thinking, yay, I get to run 4 miles today before I do boxing practice for 3 hours. Yay. No. They do it because it must be done. And a lot of these tasks that must be done are mundane. They're boring. They're lifeless. But it's our job to breathe life into them if we want to be a superstar. If not, we could be just like everyone else. It's really up to you. You can do things just because they're fun. But what are you really saying to yourself if you do things just because they're fun or they have a lot of variety or they're very comfortable, etc.? You're saying you value comfort. You value that feeling of comfort over growth and getting what it is that you want. You're valuing short-term over long-term. Those are people who are financially broke. They value short-term pleasure over long-term pleasure. So they want to buy it now. They don't want to wait to build their wealth, and they can buy more of those things later. They think it's boring. They think budgeting is boring. They think sitting down and, organizing your life is boring. They think journaling is boring. They think reading is boring. All these things that you heard me talk about, and I'm not the only one who talks about them. You know that they're what's needed in order to get you where you want to go, but you don't do them because they're boring. And that's why you have results just like everyone else. So if you want to succeed at a high level consistently, you have to approach your tasks like Drew Brees approached his little shoulder exercises. Every single morning he was in the rehab room and he wasn't even hurt. Doing his exercises. And guess what? He did them with his headphones on, juiced, smiling, with intensity, day after day after day. And that's what makes him great. And that's why he's only 6'1", and he's getting better results than other people who are not as old as him and certainly not, 6'1". Taller, faster, stronger than him. But it's his ability to approach those tasks with high level intensity. So here are some questions you need to ask yourself, honestly, if you want to start approaching your task with a different mindset. I use this example a lot. Kobe Bryant would spend 30 minutes doing knuckle exercises. Could you spend 30 minutes working on your knuckles? Honestly, would you go so far as Bill Walsh did to sit down and map out detailed instructions and expectations for everyone in his organization, all the way down to the janitors, to the receptionists, what they need to wear, how they need to present themselves, how they answer the phones? Or is that too boring for you? This is what it takes. So here are the questions I would ask if I were you right now. Here are the questions I would ask, honestly, to challenge myself. Number one, what do you need to do? What do you need to do consistently in order to be great? You got to know the tasks. You need to know what skills, what things you need to do. What skills need to be instinct? What things do you need to have so locked down, so dialed in that they are instinct? These questions are getting us to the heart of what it is that you need to do day after day after day. And while you're over here looking for all these, fancy answers, they're right in front of you. Do the basics. John Wooden, he would get new recruits and he'd say, no, I don't care how many three-pointers you shoot. I want you to stand up here under this rim and make 500 little layups, 500 in a row. Because I want to know how you do the basics. Do you have the diligence? Do you have the patience? Do you have the mental endurance and stamina to be able to go through long periods of time, boring work, boring task? Are you able to do that? The next question, what is your plan for religiously training and mastering these skills? You must have a plan. What do you do every day? You must have a what I call a target practice plan. Target practice. Every single day, you have certain targets, certain skills that you're working on daily to improve. Dribbling, shooting, passing, basketball IQ, watching film. Every day, footwork drills. If you're a tennis player, you're a quarterback, every day footwork drills. Every day, put a footwork ladder in your garage. Every day, put one in your backyard. Put one in your bedroom. Lay it down with some masking tape. Every single day. Do it while you brush your teeth. Do ladders while you brush your teeth. That's 4 minutes a day. You should be brushing your teeth. That's 4 minutes more ladders per day you're getting in the next man. Add that up over the course of years. How much better are you going to be? How much better is your footwork going to be? The next question, what will you do to overcome obstacles to your focus and your intensity? So you know that at some point it's going to get boring. You know that at some point you're going to want to give up on that diet. You're going to get tired of eating that food day after day after day. But you got goals, right? So you can't afford to get tired of that because it still must be done. Your results don't care if it's boring or not. Your results require a certain type of action for you to take. So what is your plan for overcoming that? How are you going to make it interesting and fun? How are you going to, diversify your workouts? Maybe it's playing some different music. Maybe it's getting a different workout partner. Maybe it's going to sign up at a different gym. Maybe it's adding some different spice to your foods. Whatever it is you got to do to make it fun. Whatever it is, find some way to spice it up. But either way you cut it or slice it, it's still got to be done. True? There's certain basics that must be done, certain fundamentals that must be adhered to in order to succeed at the highest of levels. It doesn't matter what your profession is. Michael Phelps swam every single day for all of his teenage years. Every single day. It's not magic why he became such a great swimmer. He swam more than the next man. He practiced more. And he did it with a certain level of focus and intensity that others couldn't sustain. So can you sustain that? What routines and rituals will you have, will you solidify in order to renew your motivation? Your motivation will wane. You will have days where you don't want to go and you still must go. So what rituals and routines will you set up? Will you go so far as to prime time every time before you work out? Will you go so far as to read out your G code out loud in the mirror before you work out, before you train? Will you go so far as to take 10 minutes before you work out just to make sure you're in the proper state of mind? Do you have the courage to do that? If you do, you are eligible to be great. That's not even going to guarantee you're going to be great. That's not even going to guarantee you're going to be a superstar. But if you do that, at least you're eligible. At least you're still in the race. But if you're not willing to do that, go ahead and give up. Don't talk about being great no more if you're not willing to do the basics. Don't talk about being the best when you're not willing to do what the best do. The best do what you already know you got to do. They just do it more. They do it with more focus. They do it with more intensity, and they learn faster than you. And they learn faster. Part of the reason why is because they practice so much. They get more reps in. Like Arnold Schwarzenegger said, more reps, more sets. It's kind of simple. He said, I knew I'd get big. I'd do more reps and I'd do more sets. Sometimes it is that simple, but we like to overcomplicate it. So do you want to be great? That's the question. Like Nick Saban said, how good do you want to be? How good is it that you say you want to be? If you want to be great, that's the difference, man. The difference is those who are great do the things that other people are too boring to do. So don't talk to me no more about how it's too boring to journal. Don't tell me about it being boring to read. If it's boring, then go do something fun. Go play some video games. Go watch some movies. If that's your objective. If not, do what needs to be done and make it fun. That's your challenge, all right? So, do you want to be great? What do you got to do in order to be great? What's your plan to do it? Go do it. Let's go. Thank you for tuning in to the Sports Motivation Podcast.
Make sure if you dig in the podcast, go and subscribe so you can always get the latest episodes. I come out with a new episode twice a week on Tuesday and Friday at 3 a.m. Eastern. And make sure you go ahead and rate it and leave me a good review. As always, I appreciate you tuning in, and I'll talk to you soon. Much love. One of the most common questions I get from athletes all the time is this: what is the single best thing I can do to reach my goals? How can I set myself apart from everybody else? Obviously, there are a lot of things, but the one thing that's helped set me apart was having a coach, a mentor, someone to show me the right strategies and how I need to do things specifically to achieve my results. So you could try to do it on your own, but you'll end up making many mistakes that could have been avoided if you had someone guiding you and coaching you along the way. 99% of athletes in the world have expert coaches to show them the things that they can't see. If you want to work with me as your coach, I want you to go to IMNOTYOU.com/SRC and learn more and sign up for a free coaching session. I'll give you 60 minutes of my time for free, and I can teach you some dynamic strategies, plus show you how you can secure me as your sports results coach. All I ask is that you fit in this criteria. You're serious about your sport, you're willing to invest the time and money, and you have clear goals of taking your game to the next level, or some sort of specific results you want to achieve. This is definitely not for everyone, and I have very limited spots available for this. So, if this applies to you, I want you to take action. Go to IMNOTYOU.com/SRC, and I guarantee you're going to take your game and your career to the next level.